If love keeps hurting, your gut is not overreacting. Some red flags feel small until they break you slowly, and the wrong woman usually reveals herself long before the breakup. Today, you'll see 6 signs you should never ignore. These signs hurt because they often look like love first. And if you're a woman watching, flip the roles and listen. Red flag 1. She only shows up when it suits her. You get her attention only when she is bored, lonely, or upset. That makes you feel chosen for a moment, then forgotten again. She ignores you all week, then calls when her night goes bad. You start waiting for crumbs because crumbs feel like hope. But here's the truth. Real love does not work by convenience. Real interest looks steady, not random and last minute. It makes room for you before the crisis hits. If you matter, you are not just emergency company. Watch her effort on normal days, not just hard ones. Anybody can act warm when they need comfort. Pay attention to this. Consistency shows intention. A healthy woman checks in because she wants connection. An unhealthy one reaches out only to refill herself. After every call, ask one honest question. Do you feel seen or just used? If the answer stings, trust that sting. Your body often knows the truth before your mind does. Notice the pattern, not the apology. One sweet text cannot erase 10 cold silences. This matters even more when you are deeply lonely. Loneliness makes almost love feel like a miracle. And that is how convenience starts looking like destiny. Red flag 2. She makes you feel small. Her words may sound playful, but the damage is real. Little cuts, repeated often, become a wound inside you. She laughs at your dreams, your looks, or your soft spots. At first, you smile along so the moment stays calm. But here's the truth. Jokes that humiliate are not harmless. Respect protects love. Shame slowly poisons it. The right woman can correct you without crushing you. She speaks to your dignity, even during conflict. The wrong one studies your weak spots and presses them. Then she calls you sensitive when you react. This is where it gets interesting. Contempt often hides in sarcasm. Eye rolls, smirks, and mockery say more than words. They tell you she no longer sees you with care. And once respect dies, connection starts dying too. Think about how you feel after time with her. Do you feel stronger, calmer, and more yourself? Pay attention to this. The right bond feels safe to grow in. The wrong bond feels like a test you keep failing. Maybe you share a goal, and she instantly laughs. Or you open up, and she uses it later. That is not honesty. That is emotional carelessness. And carelessness in love always becomes pain. Red flag 3. She is always hot and cold. One day she is all in. The next day she disappears. That confusion can feel exciting, but it trains your nervous system. You stop feeling love. You start chasing relief. You replay every text, looking for what changed. But here's the truth. Mixed signals are still a signal. A person who wants you clearly should not feel impossible to read. Real affection may move slowly, but it stays coherent. It does not reward you and punish you by turns. Hot and cold love can feel addictive for a reason. Uncertainty keeps you emotionally hooked and mentally busy. Pay attention to this. Chaos is not chemistry. Butterflies can be fear wearing a pretty mask. Peace may feel boring only because drama felt normal. The right woman brings clarity, not constant guessing. You know where you stand, even on hard days. You do not need detective skills to feel secure. This is where it gets interesting. Confusion creates fake depth. You think, if I can win her, it must be real. But effort does not always mean value. Sometimes it just means the door keeps moving. She loves you on Monday and ghosts you by Thursday. That roller coaster is draining your self-worth. Red flag 4. Nothing is ever her fault. Every fight ends with you apologizing, even when you were hurt. Over time, you stop trusting your own memory. She rewrites the story until you sound like the problem. That is how blame starts becoming control. But here's the truth. Accountability is a form of love. A mature woman can say, "I was wrong." She does not need perfection. She needs honesty. Without that, every conflict becomes a courtroom, and you are always the one on trial. You bring up pain, and suddenly you are too dramatic. Pay attention to this. Deflection protects ego, not connection. Growth only starts where responsibility begins. If she cannot own small things, big things will get worse. The pattern will not shrink, it will spread. Watch what happens after the argument cools down. Does she reflect, repair, and return softer? This is where it gets interesting. Repair matters more than promises. Anybody can cry, swear, and say, "never again." Change shows up in repeated behavior, not emotional speeches. Maybe she cancels plans, then blames your reaction. Maybe she lies, then attacks your questions. When truth becomes a threat, trust cannot survive. Red flag 5. She disrespects your boundaries. You say no, and she treats it like a challenge. She pushes, jokes, pressures, or pouts until you bend. That teaches you your comfort does not matter here. Healthy love hears a boundary and makes space for it. But here's the truth. People who love you do not punish limits. They may not like every boundary, but they still respect it. Because respect is love in action. The wrong woman sees limits as rejection, so she fights them to regain control. That is why small boundary tests matter so much. Pay attention to this. The first ignored no is never small. It tells you how future no's will be handled. Time, privacy, money, sex, friendships, and family all count. A boundary is not cruelty. It is clarity. And clear love should welcome clarity. Imagine you ask for one quiet night alone. This is where it gets interesting. Her response reveals everything. She can say, "Okay, rest well. We will talk tomorrow." Or she can guilt you and make you pay. One response honors your humanity. The other trains you to abandon yourself. Love should not cost you your voice. If it does, it is already taking too much. Red flag 6. Your future values do not match. Attraction can be strong while direction is completely wrong. You may want peace, honesty, and commitment. She may want attention, control, or endless excitement. That gap stays hidden when the chemistry is loud. But here's the truth. Chemistry cannot carry conflicting values. Sooner or later, real life asks harder questions. How do you handle money, trust, family, loyalty, and time? If those answers clash, love starts feeling like friction. Pay attention to this. The future is built from daily habits, not from intense nights or beautiful words. This is where it gets interesting. Peace is a compatibility test. When you picture a hard season, who is she there? Is she a partner or another problem to manage? The right woman brings steadiness when life gets heavy. She does not turn every storm into a bigger storm. Maybe the chemistry is wild, but the peace is gone. Maybe the passion is high, but trust stays low. That is not a soulmate feeling. That is emotional whiplash. Love that fits your life should also protect your mind. If being with her keeps splitting you in half, stop. You are not here to heal through chaos forever. The right relationship feels deep, but it also feels safe. And safe does not mean dull. It means real. The hardest truth is this. Red flags rarely turn green with hope. The longer you explain them away, the more you lose yourself. Choose the person who brings peace, respect, and clear love. If this hit home, take a breath and be honest with yourself. And if you want more videos like this, stay close and keep watching.